Welcome to Talking PHAT. That's PHAT spelled P-H-A-T, which stands for purpose, hope, and truth. This is where solutions are discussed for today's problems in our country, in our communities, and in our lives.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of Unlocking Your Legacy with Talking PHAT. I'm Keith Robertson, the Fin Coach, your host. And as I always say, first of all, we're going to give praises to the Most High, for without whom neither of us would be here tonight. But I just want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. There's so many other things you could have been doing, but you tuned in to see what we're talking about. You know, and it's Talking PHAT, and it's P-H-A-T, not F-A-T, and it's P-H-A-T, which is an acronym for Purpose, Hope, and Truth. And listen, we believe that there's a lot of public information out there that's just not public knowledge. And what our aim is to bring that information forward so you can be an informed public, right? So you can make an informed decision about various things that goes on in your life and goes on in the community. So guys, listen, you know, as we look around the globe, right? You know, the U.S., here locally in Hampton Roads, it's a lot going on. It is a lot going on. And hopefully you have your, as they say, your ears on. Now, I'm going to bring to the stage some of my friends today. You know, these brothers are all a part of the BBB, Brother Building Brother organization that you guys more than likely have heard us talking about before. But we're going to have an honest conversation tonight. You know, we're going to first bring Brother Harvey Waters to the stage. Harvey is the president of the NAACP in Norfolk. Welcome, Harvey.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
You know, I wanted to bring you forward first, man, because you know the topic of discussion that we had just here recently, man. It was quite, you know, I got to be honest, man. It was kind of disturbing, you know.
Yes.
And I feel it's a topic worth sharing with the public.
Yes,
so
indeed.
If you know, and listen, guys. So family, listen. A couple Fridays ago, it was a young man that was actually unlived by the Norfolk City Police Department. Now, as unfortunate as that was, when that information was brought forward to the public, it was a bit misleading. And so, Javi, if you could enlighten us, man, to the situation that really happened that day, and I want to bring the other brothers on as well, while they can have insight also. Mr. Chikuma Awana, Mr. Damian Moore.
Yeah.
Mr. Calvin Parker.
Please excuse me, I'm getting ready for work as we go.
Okay, well, let me throw your hand up, brother, when you're ready, and I'll bring you back in. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, yeah, brother, if you would go ahead and enlighten us, man, what actually happened a couple of Fridays ago?
Yeah, the stories I'm getting it. First, we're looking for honesty and transparency, first of all, from the chief of police. Evident what happened, the young man was living in the household with another young lady, and they broke up. So he was going back to retrieve some personal belongings. Evidently, he didn't have a key, so he entered the house through the doggy door. And the next door neighbor witnessed him enter the house, so they thought he was a burglar. So they called the police. So by the time they got his stuff, got back to the car, the police stopped him, surrounded him, blocked him all. He was totally surrounded. He couldn't go anywhere. So I guess they gave him a couple of lawful commands to get out the car, and he never came out the car. So they think he more or less had a mental breakdown. So then he disobeyed the lawful command. The police broke the windows out, shot into the car, and snatched him out the car. Now, the unfortunate thing, the chief of police, his first statement to Channel 10 or Channel 3 News, nationwide television, he said a young man came out the vehicle, pointed a weapon at the officer, and the officer returned fire and killed him. He never, ever exited the vehicle. That was all done in place. They broke the window, shot him, pulled him out, snatched him out. So now the situation where the trust is lost with the chief of police of Norfolk. the citizens outraged with the whole deal. And do further investigation, talking to family members, come to find out he had mental illness. He was down in, I think, Jacksonville, some part of Florida, and seeking treatment. So what the police should have did, still they should have tried to de-escalate the thing instead of escalating it. They should have just pumped the brakes and trying to figure out what he was dealing with. If you have an individual sitting in his car, he's not obeying lawful orders, and I think he may have been on a cell phone as well. So they should have sent a red flag, saying something going on with this guy. So at that point, they should have probably called in. I think they called it CIT team, which is Crisis Intervention Team. I think they ran by CSB, I do believe. That should have been done first. With that, they did that. And maybe someone could have reached out to one of his family members, and maybe they could have talked them out the vehicle. And this young man is still be with us today. I think he was 31 years old. His name is Dwayne Harris. Dwayne Harris. He would still be here today. He had one child for sure. I know he had a son. I think he just had one kid, maybe two. But I know one for sure. But this thing is going. If you guys been watching the news, this is happening nationwide. It's happening nationwide, and they happened in Jacksonville, Florida, as well. I'm sorry. So with that, one thing I'm gonna say, if anyone out there listening to us live, if you have family members that are dealing with mental illness, always check on them all the time. Call them, visit all the time, because you might get them at a certain point. If they break a point, they're going through something or something about they're ready to do something. You can maybe talk them out. So that's number one. We need to always stay in contact with our family members that are dealing with mental illness as well. We need to make sure we do that all the time. And so
mental health is real, brother.
Yeah, it's real. So me and Keith talked about something the other day about what we talked about. Keith, they need to create some kind of database. We talked about that. I think that's something that's that we truly can look into. Just like they have a national data bank when it come to what is the pedophile? Sorry, exactly, pedophile. So now I would think if you can create a national database, where your cell phones are tied, and not only that your cell phones are tied into it, even if you're, like we're telling Keith, even your family member, if you're on a family plan, they got to make sure they register you and saying you've been diagnosed official already mental illness, and you need to tie all that in together and use their AI. So if the altercation happens, you get stopped by the police, the traffic stop, however, and then you get pinged, and they know exactly what they're dealing with, how to approach you, instead of just winging it and just going off the fly.
That possibly could be something that we could bring forward, or that someone could bring forward. Type of database if a person has been diagnosed to have some form of mental illness, that when they're in that situation, right, and they're dealing with law enforcement, the law enforcement could actually look into that database and possibly see that, okay, this person has some form of mental illness. Possibly we need to bring the crisis intervention team out versus, dealing with this with the legal limit in which they're able to deal with that situation. But man, it's the point that the misinformation that was brought forward, because one of the things that I was wondering, brother, and you can speak to this, I'm like, okay, well, everybody got two sides to every story. Right? Exactly. But what did the web, was there a video?
Of course.
What did the body cam say? And then you also stated, and you guys forgive me, I wanted to actually find that video. I would have played it tonight if I would have found it, but I couldn't find it.
Yes. The body cam, they had the body cam footage of the whole body cam video, and that was already posted on, I think, TikTok or YouTube. So when that happened, I guess the chief, whoever realized that was out there, so he recanted his statement on that Monday and did a full-length apology. But we never found out where did he get his information from. Was it told to him by another officer? And we don't know. He came out himself and told that story like that. Those are probably we have to figure out eventually to see how that even started. That whole statement, that false statement, which is absolutely unacceptable. That doesn't even make sense. Just be honest and be true. I mean, if you just slow the whole process down, and he should have just said, well, I'll just pause for a moment. Let me gather more intel, and I'll make a public statement within an hour or so. still off the bat, because everything is moving fast. We know it's moving fast. When those like incidents happen, everything is moving fast. But to me, the top tier, the so-called smart guy that gonna handle the situation, de-escalate the situation. You have to be the person that's calm. Somebody got to slow it down. Even everybody running 1,000 miles an hour, somebody got to bring it down with a level head. Not we're gonna be chaotic, and we just a result of it, because everybody, part of the whole thing was chaotic and running wild. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure everybody wants to go home, right? The gentleman and the person in the car, he's terrified and scared, and the police officer on the edge. So everything's going at the same time. So yeah.
Well, brother, we're gonna make sure that we stay up on this.
Yes.
And get the latest information. Get that latest information from you, man, because in our community today, I mean, we see it rampant,
Yes.
We see lives being lost. And that brings me to a question that I want to ask you guys tonight, man. As we're talking about coming together and finding a solution, could unity be the answer to the systematic problems that we have? Could unity solve that problem if we were to come together?
I think unity always plays a great part. Unity is in numbers and support for one each other. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
So what would be? How would we come together? Because this is the thing that I see, right? And I said this to someone earlier today. 50 Cent, he had it's one of his CDs as well. It was a saying, and it became a saying in our community. Get rich or die trying. And I say unify or die. That could be a battle cry for us, man, because we have to eliminate all these barriers that we have within our community, our religious barriers, our economical barriers. When you're looking at, don't worry about if a brother's a Christian, he's a Muslim, a Hebrew Israelite, he's conscious, he's spiritual, or whatever the case may be. He has this degree, that degree, or he's a part of this fraternity, she's a part of this sorority. They have this certain amount of economical prowess from their income, or this person is unemployed. All of that has to stop, man. It's going to take all of us coming together and forming a unified front.
Yes.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion, man. And that's the charge that I say. Unify or die.
Can I jump in on this?
Absolutely.
So, wow, it's a couple of different points. Even going back to the mental health subject, let me just touch on that and then segue into this. PTSD is a mental health, correct?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay, so all of us, to some degree, have PTSD. Just by being Black in America, we've experienced it in some way, shape, or form. And there's certain things that can trigger it. It can be triggered amongst our own people, but surely from white people. This might be an exaggerated example, but when a Black person calls you a nigger versus a white person calling you a nigger, when a white person says it, it hits you a little differently, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
That's a trigger, okay?
Yeah.
So we have been, well, let me say this. We are descendants of our forefathers who were once slaves. Are we in agreement on that?
Amen.
I call them POWs.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are descendants of them. Their DNA still runs through our blood. They were slaves. We are descendant of them. They were slaves in a war. Slavery was a war against us. We were defenseless, but we were in a war. Guess what? That war is still going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the way we have to look at it. If we look at it that way, we would move differently. Now that's segueing into the unity part. When you realize that you're in a war, it doesn't matter whether you're a blood or crip, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, whether you're a Nation of Islam or Jehovah Witness, whatever. It doesn't matter because unity will always be the common denominator. Unity gives us strength. That's unity and knowledge of self. Those are the things that we need. But having unity and the knowledge of self, if you're not going to put action behind it, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like having a brand new car and you don't have the keys to it. So, um, unity, we can see an example of it, of what's going on over in Africa right now. There's a young man, 34, I think. His name is Captain Ibrahim Traore. 2 years ago, because of the crooked, and I'm just being real quick with this. You can read the backstory. Information is out here, but he wasn't satisfied with the um, oligarch, the dictator that was running that country. He did a junta, which is a coup, and he has freed up that country. He has expelled France because Burkina Faso was a former French colony.
Yep.
He has caused a unification in Africa. Bob Marley made an album back in the 80s titled Africa Unite, and it had all the African flags on the cover. That is a dream that is now coming alive. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he's tried to do that. Uh, Kwame Nkrumah, there are many, Steve Biko, all of them.
Yep.
This guy is causing it to happen. Now, there's a lot of things, and I don't know if we're going to have time to get into all of this. However, what's going on in Africa right now? They're unifying. Countries are unifying. They're putting aside their tribal differences, their religious differences, because that's the big thing that divides in Africa. I'm saying that because of what Brother Keith was talking about earlier with the fraternities and the this and the that divides us. I found out years ago because of my religious beliefs. Now I've been kind of broad because of who I was raised up around. I grew up around certain um, religious ideologies where I became very familiar with, and we connected. We connected under the umbrella of Pan Africanism. Pan Africanism, I believe, is that unifying thread that can bring all of us together because it transcends your religion, your fraternal or sororital affiliation, your political affiliation, whatever your affiliation. It transcends all of that because it's based on Black love, Black self-reliance, Black family, Black business, black. Us doing for self has nothing to do with hating and killing other people. We're just trying to, when I say we, because I am that. I am a Pan-Africanist, and I'm proud of it. I've been it pretty much all of my life. I see what it can do. I understand the ideology. My prayer to the Most High is that I live to see it, and I'm seeing it starting to happen. Why am I saying all of this? Sometimes the pressure of life can force the hand of some of us. You know, right now here in America, I'm kind of going back a little bit here now. Uh, I don't know if you all are aware of it. HIV, AIDS, and herpes is at an all-time high. I'm talking about the highest it's ever been. I don't know if it's in an epidemic proportion or a pandemic proportion. The highest, the cities with the highest rate of it is, oh my gosh,
Atlanta,
Miami,
Miami. I know Atlanta.
Miami and Fort Lauderdale,
Mm-hmm.
followed by Memphis, Tennessee, then Atlanta, Georgia. Then it goes to Houston, and so, man, it is so bad. But what's even more scarier is the undocumented cases.
Mm-hmm.
There are stories of both men and women intentionally infecting other people with it. I'm assuming that they have that mindset. Somebody gave it to me, and I'm going to die from this stuff. So I'm going to take out as many people as I can with it. They're deliberately not telling people, and they're, coming together with them.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
As this disease has made a comeback,
But who's
would
never
you would
left?
you would you say, yeah, absolutely, would you say that because of our societal depravities in which we operate now within our community has a lot to do with that?
I don't know exactly where you're going with it, but I
Well, let me
think,
let me say it. Let me say it a different way.
okay,
When we look at what's glamorized in our community,
okay, that's where
what's
Yeah.
I
glamorized
thought
in
you.
our community,
Yeah.
Yes.
now, to put it point blank,
Yeah.
at one point in time when I was growing up, young women wanted to be ladies, but that's no longer the case.
Yeah. So.
They're just cool with being females now, and the sexual, being promiscuous is cool now.
Look, yeah,
Yeah.
being promiscuous is not a thing anymore. Look, when I
Yeah.
was young, there was a word now, and this is a touchy subject, and it's not to say that people who are bad, okay? Because I believe everybody's blessed, regardless of how you came about. But the word was a word that was of scorn, and that word was called bastard. Do
Mhm.
any of you all remember that word?
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, your upper class blacks, they understood that and they were ashamed. They didn't want to be known and they didn't want to contribute to that. And white people definitely didn't. But in the entertainment industry,
That's wild.
because it was happening still more with us. Well, no, it was happening with them. They were just having abortions. Okay.
Hmm.
We weren't having abortions. We were having the children instead. But my point is that stigma is no longer there because people don't even think about giving a child any honor nowadays. They
Yeah.
smash, they get pregnant. Oh well, we're gonna have a baby,
Yeah,
and that
Yeah.
baby
Yeah.
is still blessed. Again, I want to make that
absolutely, I
point.
agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, man, what's the word you used, Keith? You just said it, but my age, I'm forgetting. Um,
Promiscuism.
Promiscuous. Thank you, man. Cardi B would not be Cardi B if she wasn't pushing promiscuity. And I'm just using her because I don't know all the other names of the female
Whole
Yeah,
bunch of them.
rappers that are
Yeah.
out there. When
Whole
I
bunch.
was coming up back in when hip hop first started, I'm gonna see how I'm gonna date you guys. Um, who was the raunchiest, the most raunchiest female singer back
shucks.
in the 80s?
I'm looking at it right now, man. Oh man, with the full lips.
Kim. Lil Kim.
No, not Lil Kim. You talking about? This is a singer.
Oh,
Hmm.
She's a singer.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
help me. I
what year
Millie
we talk?
Jackson.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, Melody. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yes,
She was the
yes,
most
yes,
raunchiest
Yeah.
female
Yes.
back
Yes.
yeah,
then. Do you
yeah.
not know that if you compared Millie Jackson to some of these rappers today,
Mm-hmm.
Millie Jackson would be considered a nun?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Um, Prostitutes here in the near future, they're going to be walking on the strip butt ball naked. You know
Well,
why?
that
Yeah.
was prophesized, brother.
Because the women today are wearing what
Yeah.
prostitutes wear.
But
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
one of
That's
one of
right.
my teachers, though, I mean, that's a real
Mhm.
statement, Chuck, because back in the late '80s, one of my teachers stated that it says going to come a time when a prostitute is going to have to walk around naked because of the way that women dress on a daily basis. And you know, and now too, man, we look at them. The prostitutes aren't in the street anymore, and they are naked because they on live. What they are, you know, they found a way to do that. But going back to the original question, you know, could that have something to do with that increase in that HIV? And so when I think about those things as well, I think about, you know, I'm not going to say from a conspiracy theory, but you know, the powers that be, or those that want to see our demise, you know, they're still there.
Yes, and
You
let
know,
me let me read something here to strengthen your position and your argument. Um, Years ago, are you all? I know you all are familiar with Henry Kissinger, but are you familiar with a man by the name of Zebedee Zabrinsky?
No. No.
Okay, Henry Kissinger, as you know, he died a few months ago. I'm not sure if Zebedee Zabrinsky is still alive, but during President Nixon, Tricky Dick's presidency, he had or gotten those two individuals to write up a memorandum. It's called National Security Council Memorandum 46. Okay. I remember taking this to the former director of the FBI back in, I want to say, maybe the early 2000s. Maybe it was around 2007. No, 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 no. It was 2009. It was in Norfolk. That's when the FBI headquarters was in Norfolk. I went to him because I wanted to believe that the FBI had changed and they weren't still like J. Edgar Hoover had trained them to be. But anyway, to make a long story short, if you don't mind, can I read this real quickly?
no, go ahead, brother,
I'm not
please.
going to read the whole thing, but um, okay. This is the subject. In the subject matter, it says Black Africa and U.S. Black Movement. The president has directed that a comprehensive review be made of current developments in Black Africa from the point of view of their possible impact, okay, on the Black movement in the United States. The review should consider long term tendencies of social and political developments and the degree to which they are consistent with or contradict the U.S. interest. That's a loaded statement right there because it's talking about resources, their power in the on the continent, their influence on leaders, so forth and so on. The proposals for durable contacts between radical African leaders and leftist leaders of the United States Black community. Let's unpack that. I guess I would be considered a leftist Black leader because I'm a Pan Africanist. Basically, what this is saying is that our government deploys their operatives to keep family members from getting together, okay? Because they know that if African Americans like me and Africans over there get together, because Africa has all the resources that the world needs, they want to keep us powerless. There are videos on YouTube right now, and this is not part of this, but the ideology is still the same. There are different leaders on YouTube that are saying we cannot let Africa become free because if Africa gets free, then that means we'll die, meaning economically and so forth. So there has always been this concerted effort to keep us from unifying, which goes back to the statement that we're talking about. Will unity or could unity be a power base, bring us together? Yes, it can. But we have to understand from history what they're going to do and what they're doing. They're going to do any and everything to keep us divided. We have to have enough knowledge, going back to knowledge of self, meaning our history and what's been done, to know what's being done and what can be done in the future to continue to keep us separated. Am I making any sense?
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
110%, brother.
And
Right
I
on.
say this.
So
I
we
say this.
cannot allow that to happen
No.
anymore. Anymore. One of the big things I'm hearing now, this is an age-old thing that's been rehashed. That is, Africans don't like us. They hate us. And then you got some Africans are saying, because they're looking at the videos, yeah, African
Yeah.
Americans don't like us.
Well,
Man, look,
now, in defense of that, I've dealt with that personally. So in my 10-year period when I was dealing with commodities, I've dealt with that. It may not be a blanket statement that you can say that, but there is
exactly.
there is some racism
But why?
when it comes to, because I can tell you why. I
Tell
can
me.
tell you why. Because when we're two distinctly different people.
Are we?
When you African has self pride.
Some,
Many pride of self. Yes.
not all.
No. I'm just telling you from my experience, and you can speak to this, but very culturally driven. Okay, knowing of the history, but
Mm.
yet they come here and they're able to excel because they have the economical fundamentals that they need to be successful in life. Now, on the flip side, here in the U.S., we don't have that in our community. I have to say, we don't have that self pride. We have the resources, but we don't go after and utilize the resources because we don't have that pride of self. And so this is why I'm always talking about financial literacy, education, because in this day and time, the reason why a person does not have knowledge or certain understanding because they're not seeking it. Because information is rampant, man. Information is rampant.
Yeah.
Information is right at our fingertips. So
Yes,
for
yes.
people to not take advantage of it, um, that's on them.
Well,
Information is out here, right at your
I,
fingertips.
I
yeah.
did, but too, I really believe that a lot of people are just caught up in surviving life.
Yes.
They're not planning because they're in survival mode.
Yeah. Keith, let me jump
I
on this
think, yeah.
before time
Yeah.
gets away from us.
Yeah.
So you know my story. I was born and raised here in America, but I'm a first generation Nigerian. Um, I was raised up in, gosh, I was raised up around different cultures. And my household, of course, was my ethnic culture, which I'm Igbo. Uh, my babysitters were Panamanians. And of course, you spend more time with your babysitters when you're coming up than you are with your parents. Then my neighbors, when I walked outside, you had Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, and then various people from the different Caribbean islands. Uh, so I grew up culturally aware. Now, to address your statement, believe it or not, the cultural knowledge that you referred to that a lot of Africans have, it's not so much a cultural, it's ethnic uh, culture. A lot of them understand, other than Ethiopia, all other African countries were colonized. So they have been misled on a lot of things. Yeah, they may know a little bit more about their history because they were not taken from, but they were still forced fed misinformation.
So let me ask you this. So you feel that when I'm making reference to when they come to America.
I was going to get to that, but go ahead.
I'm talking about that that pride in who they are versus individuals that are born here. I see a great difference there, and I
Okay.
see them able to now. You know what? Now let me go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
Keith, I also believe it's a trust thing, man, because I don't think a lot of times they feel as though we've been Europeanized in a sense, and we more or less to go with the white man, so to speak, whatever. I think it's a trust issue as well that ties into that whole deal. Where
I'll
we
tell
look
you
at,
exactly what it is.
yeah, go ahead, brother.
They watch TV,
Mm-hmm.
they watch movies,
Mm-hmm.
then they have white missionaries.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come over here and go through customs and whatever else they have to go through, they're told to stay away from African Americans because
Mm-hmm.
African Americans, let's deal with what they see on
Lazy,
TVs.
want to sell
They
drugs.
see
Yep.
drug dealers,
Yes.
they see gang
Trust.
members,
Yep.
they see you killing each other, they see disrespect of elderly, they
Mm-hmm.
see black men impregnating women and not taking care of their responsibility. Now, all this is true. It's not a blanket thing, but we have to agree a lot of that is true.
Yeah.
Okay? So when they come over here and they see brothers with their butts hanging out because they're sagging, they're like, wow, I know this. Now, the funny part is, you go over there, you'll see young guys, what's up, my nigga? And they're sagging too. The craziest thing. But anyway, that's another story. But so they get bad imagery. Now, when they come over here and see it, they're afraid. Then you have African Americans that don't show them any compassion and love, call them African booty scratchers, and turn up their nose. And come on, I used to laugh at some Africans. I could always tell them because of how they match their clothes. They would have some wild colors. And I know them. My
Yeah.
father, I can show you some pictures of my father. But so the other thing is, you have African Americans. They we're given images of how African should look. Up until recently, within the past 20 years, the images that we have of Africans, babies have pot bellies, flies around their face, guys with big thick nose, big thick lips, and the images.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
But now,
Nice.
because of music, because of YouTube,
Social
you see
media.
some fine looking women, don't you?
Yes,
And
sir.
some fine looking guys, for the girls. So, things are changing. A lot of people, when I direct them to go to YouTube and type in the Africa you never see, and then
Mhm.
they see these huge cities,
Yeah.
bigger than, tall skyscrapers, shopping
Mhm.
malls, fashion. They're like, that's not Africa.
Like Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've
Robert.
both been misinformed, and that's
Mhm.
Yes.
been by design.
Mhm.
It's been
Yes.
by design. I am on a quest. If any of you all that are listening, that I'm seeing, my brothers of the BBB, or the listening audience, if you're in the Hampton Roads area, you want to meet some Africans, holla at your boy. I'm sorry, I'm not a boy, I'm a man. Holla at your man. I'll introduce you to them so you can meet them for yourself. Now, when it comes to pride, Keith, you must have met some Nigerians. Google
Yeah.
Nigerians.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nigerians have pride.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're the
Yeah.
most proud people in
Yeah.
Africa, and all Africans know that. Most Africans are intimidated by Nigerians. Nigeria is the New York of Africa,
Mhm.
if that says anything.
I get it, brother. I get it. So where do we go from here, man? We now kids are going back to school. Norfolk just went back this week. Um, Virginia Beach is going back next week. I'm not sure about the other cities around, man. And have you guys heard about these children being missing?
Yeah.
Influx of, children being missing. And then the FBI has put out a statement stating that they're trying to debunk this, but yet I'm still seeing it pop up on social media. You know,
So I would
I heard a
say to
story about
this,
a young man yesterday, that was missing for a couple of days, and they found him later, unalive. I mean, man, this time and what we live in, bro, it takes, and I'm so big on unity because it's going to take us looking out for each other. Because, like you said, at that point in time, when you begin to rise up and you begin to come together and form a unified front, there is going to be um, individuals and groups that want to
go ahead and say it, man.
eliminate
Yeah.
us from doing that.
Right.
They
Exactly.
want to stop us. They want to stop. They don't want to build. They don't want to allow that momentum to begin because they work so hard to keep us separate.
Yeah.
So hard, man.
That's what's
But
going to
Have no
that's
other
what's going to
option,
cause
gentlemen.
us to divide.
right.
But
But
that's a dividing that has to be, because at that point, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's going to show who is really committed to the cause of unification and who's just talking. And the
yeah.
people that are just talking, it's okay. I mean, seriously, because everybody has to find their lane to be in. You
Right.
got warriors, I mean, real warriors, and then you have other type of warriors. The other
Oh, yeah.
type of warriors could be the ones that are unifying, brings people to them, whatever. Find
Yeah.
your lane, but let's all just get busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why this conversation, that's why I was saying they have to see it. At the end of the day, they have to see it, right? So this is a powerful conversation. Those is the type thing I was saying. That's the type thing we need to do in that school system. And they need to hear these young men need to hear these conversations, because we having a great conversation. And so basically what we need to do also, come together and come with an agenda. Then we can address and move from there. We can reach out to another public school system, and then we can get that platform, man, and start.
The schools aren't going to allow this conversation. They're not going to allow this conversation in the schools.
Yeah. Well, not in this format. No.
No, I mean,
That's why I said
listen, they're already, they're trying to, the critical race theory, that comes from up top. That's just not a local.
Right, yeah.
That comes. That's a statewide thing. That's not just here, a local endeavor, right?
Yeah.
Trying to eliminate our history, brother.
Right.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see the Black Panther Party, or parties, because there's different factions of them now. I would love to see them implement what the Panthers back in the 70s used to do. Feeding the community, being out there, teaching them
Protecting
certain things, forming not vigilante, that's the wrong choice of words, but patrolling the neighborhoods. But this time is going to be different. It's not so much of the police that they're policing. That too, but we got to police our own young hoodlums, and we got to call it what it is, man.
Yeah.
They're hoodlums.
Yeah, exactly.
They're menaces to society.
It's a time for that, brother. And it's because these young brothers and sisters, because there are sisters involved in that too, they haven't been taught the basics. When you don't have a baseline to govern yourself, right? What's low? What is low? What's acceptable? What's not acceptable? When you don't even have the basics.
Brother, you're the president of the Norfolk NAACP.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So are you affiliated, or do you corroborate with the Congressional Black Caucus?
Yes, on a person, yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yes,
So that's going with the established organizations. But what do you do for the grassroots organizations? Do you meet with them? Grassroots meaning the one organization that I just mentioned, NAACP, the Israelites. This is all.
Urban League, like the Urban League. That's another group.
Yes.
Yeah, we meet with them also. The Urban League. and we of course we open to meet with anyone. In the past, a lot of them haven't, but I will. I'm trying to change the whole culture, whole narrative when that comes to that. But a lot of past presidents didn't do that. They didn't reach out to different organizations. They didn't do it. But
They
I
didn't
plan.
really they
No,
didn't
sir.
really have their
No,
heart into it,
no.
man, because
Exactly.
this is a
Exactly.
family affair.
It is.
Okay,
Exactly.
we're in this boat
Yeah.
together. As I said
Yes.
earlier, we're in the war. We're behind enemy lines, and we need everybody. We need all
Everybody.
of us.
Yeah. And I
Well,
pushed that. I
I
pushed that because I just left the Eastern Star event last Monday, and that's what I said to Mike. The same thing. The unification. We all need to unify. Pretty much the same thing Keith said at the beginning. I said that at the Eastern Star event.
well,
That's
brother,
what
I
needs to
offer
happen.
myself to you. I would, if you need my help with anything. I mean, I'm about action, man. And this is my heart. This is my heart. I'm in the fourth quarter of my life. I want to make a difference. When I go out of
We all
here,
are, brother.
Yeah.
say again.
We all are
Yeah.
right here
So I
in
want to
this.
make a difference. I
Yeah.
want, if I go before any of you guys, I want you to be at my funeral and say, "Hey, I knew this brother, and we marched together." Well, I'm just using marching. I'm
Exactly.
tired of marching, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Fought
So
together. Fought together. Yeah.
It's time, man. It is time. It's it's a statement that I kind of say around to different individuals, but we will come together when we get tired enough, man.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and time, and as you see what's going on around this country, people are tired enough, man. And it's a little different now because now we're so spread out. Norfolk is a little different because you have your communities in Norfolk, but a lot of the other areas are, you know, I'm out here in the beach, man. So it's,
Keith,
yeah,
we can't even wait until they get tired enough, because
No.
when they get tired enough, that means that there could possibly be a
Mm-hmm.
catastrophic amount of our people being unalive before our people wake up and say, "Oh shoot, we got to get together." Well,
oh,
at that point, it's going to be too late.
Right.
Now we got to start doing that. So
Oh,
when that
Mm-hmm.
does
yeah.
happen, there'll be some of us already organized and doing something
yeah.
and have
So,
things in place.
Yeah.
so let me ask you, gentlemen, this. Your churches, your churches.
You got
I
jokes,
know
right?
me. I know me and Harvey talk about that all the time.
Yes, sir.
Keith has always been a comedian, man.
I'm not joking.
He's
I'm not
always been a
man.
comedian.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, as far as listen, because there are two things that affect our community. Two things.
Mm-hmm.
One is a health issue, and that's health, right? So that goes back to how we eat and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is economics. Those are the two things that
Right.
each and every church should be teaching.
Yeah.
They should have a mandate to
They
teach
take in. They
because
take in money every weekend. They
well,
take in bad money.
I don't
And they're putting back.
they take money, they don't take money,
And
you
they're
know,
putting back.
but it's those two things, man. Teaching individuals about health consciousness and about
Mm-hmm.
finances, man,
Yeah.
because those are the two things that affect our community the most.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But and what does it say? What is Solomon, right? Money is the answer to all problems.
Look, man, I joke, but I love the people of God, and
Mm-hmm.
I will forever believe that uh, the church is the most powerful entity in the black community, followed by the liquor stores. No, I'm not making a
Yeah.
joke. I'm
Yeah, I know
serious.
you're saying yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
Um, but something has changed. I don't know if it was before my lifetime or during my lifetime. The church is more focused on what's going on within the four walls rather
Mm-hmm.
than what's going on outside. Now, They say that they pray for the people that have gotten shot each day, and my heart goes out to them, or whatever, whatever. But you don't see them out there doing what the Bible says. Go out into the highways and hedges. And if
Mm-hmm.
they do, they only do it once or twice.
Holidays.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
now who you do see out there are Jehovah Witnesses,
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
Mormons, the Hebrew Israelites, and whether the church wants to admit it or not, the Nation of Islam.
Yes. Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that if it weren't for those four groups of people, it would probably be even more worse. So they are doing something, but with all the
Where are they at,
churches
brother?
that are out here,
Where are
do
they
you
at?
not know if they would each get out there and patrol and evangelize? Do you not know that that could do
So
greatly?
so
Yeah.
my thing is this, though, right? I'm not even talking about it from that standpoint.
I'm sorry.
I'm just no. That's your no. Don't apologize for what you said because you were spot on. But what I'm just saying is forget all of that. Come together as just the black and brown people.
Mm-hmm.
Leave all of that. Leave that at the door.
Right,
Leave
right.
that at the door.
Well,
Come together under the banner of unity.
Mm-hmm.
You
well,
know,
and yeah.
if you trust your God has all this under control.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and whatever
Yeah.
God that you believe in, your
Yeah.
God has that. I know mine does.
Amen.
Has all this under control, but we have to come together as a collective front because these individual voices have no power. Look at what Jamal Bryan is doing in those 20 pastors.
What
And
is
then
he
you
doing?
see
I'm
how
unfamiliar with it. What is he
how
doing?
they've affected Target, the Target voice,
Okay, yeah.
and what they've done there. And now they're going on to the Family Dollar as well, because the Family Dollar, they're in our communities. They put the Family Dollars in our communities because when they were boycotting Target, the conversation was, hey, you got black owned businesses with their products in there. Okay, because they affected them in a major way and still are, right? But you had the three church bodies that came together and took, I believe it was $300,000, whatever. That was a conversation that you guys may not be aware of,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, that the Family Dollar stores are in our communities. If you notice, the Family Dollar stores are within our communities. Say within 20 blocks of McDonald's, you're going to find a Family Dollar store. And they don't have any of our products in those stores.
Right,
You
right,
don't,
right,
you
right.
don't have any products from any black farmers.
Hmm.
The food desert, they bring the Family Dollars in, right? There's no black
Yeah.
farmers that are products are in that store. No crops from any black farmers. They don't have any black products on their shelves. They don't have
Hmm.
any black individuals in the higher corporate ranks of that company. So
So
that
Keith,
they're the ones that that this group is going after now. What was that?
Yeah.
let me ask you
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So, oh, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of those communities, all they have is Family Dollar, so
Yeah.
they have to go there. So what happened? I mean, what needs to happen is where with the unity piece, man. When we see things unjust, we all got to rally together, go down City Hall, and raise HELL, man. For example, just like I told Congressman Pay, City Councilman JP. I want to know why the so-called food desert right there in Calvert Square and Young's Terrace. It used to be, what was that? What was that, KP? A Piglet Wiggler, right? Used to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you took that away. Now you bringing some sort of medical facility there. When you're already deemed as a food desert, you're not bringing a store back there. You're bringing a medical facility. They don't need that. They need a grocery. But yeah, you don't have enough people that'll go to City Hall and drones and say, "That's not a sub. We're not gonna stand for this. This is what needs to happen."
What
So
did JP
when
say?
I asked him about it, he said the city, Mr. Water, some of the land that we don't own that particular land is owned to the private sector, and they can do as well. That's the explanation he gave me. But no matter what, even with that, you have enough people that's raising the HELL. They would have to pivot. They couldn't break. They couldn't break a. If you got 100 people from those two communities, private organization, civic organization, going to City Hall and raising cane about what's going to happen there, they would have to pivot. So those are things. It's when you talk about the unity piece, man. Man, we have to get real better what we're doing, man.
We have to
We have to
do for self.
Yeah,
we really do.
Yeah.
So let me ask
for the masses.
So I want to be clear on this point too. Chuck, you said it earlier. Now I'm not saying anything against anybody out there that doesn't look like me. You know, I have some great allies, some great relationships of individuals that don't look like me. So I'm not coming from the standpoint of any racist stance. I'm coming from the standpoint of what my family needs, because it's my grandchildren that's going to have to deal with this. Okay? And their children.
Yeah.
It's going to have to deal with that.
Exactly. I'm gonna make just one quick point about the churches, key right quick. A lot of times the churches, we have to go to them. They're not coming out, they're not coming to us. And a lot of these churches will do XYZ if you approach them with a game plan. This is what we need to do, this is what needs to happen. Because I can name 2 or 3 that will engage and will do it. But unfortunately, we have to go to them.
Well, let's do it.
We're in a war. We're in a war. So
yeah, we can go to them. Yeah, I can say New Calvary, Jimmy's Boulevard. Pastor Smalls will move. Pastor Gunn, Second Cal by Norfolk State, he will move. So I know several of them. We can go to them and they will actually move.
Okay.
So that's what we're
going to talk about that offline, because you know this is something that has to happen like now, man.
Exactly.
You know, economical prowess, bro, and understanding how money works. You know, understanding, you know, about the healthcare system. You know, with all of the changes that are coming about with Medicaid.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing about it, some of these changes have already been there, but we just didn't know about them. Yeah. I have some friends. Actually, I have someone that's going to come on and talk about it. They work in the system. They're going to have to be behind the screen. They can't even show their face.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're going to do that. But look, listen, man, we've been here. We're going on an hour now, man. And what I like to do is we'll come back for part 2. We'll get Damien, you know, get his input. When Damien, I hope you're still watching. Maybe next time you won't need to cut your hair on screen. What were you doing? A barber class, brother? But yeah, and we can come back and revisit this, because you know people's attention span. We're going on 58 minutes now, and we'll possibly, if you guys are with it, man, we can come back next week, man, and have more direct conversations about this topic. And I like to bring back some statistics and some other things about it as well. Some news that and a couple of videos that I want to show also that we could actually talk about. You guys down for that?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem.
Absolutely. I'd like to ask a question once we go offline. If y'all could, I don't know how you can do that, Keith, or if we got to do it by phone or what.
Did Keith freeze up?
Yeah,
I think it looks like he is.
Like he froze.
Yeah. He needs some heat on him. Somebody put some heat on that man. He frozen.
So a ghost, man.
Yeah, man. I think he's stuck like Chuck.
What city you in, Kuma? What city?
Chuck.
Yeah, what city you in, Kuma?
I am in Chesapeake.
Chesapeake, okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Well, look, what I was going to ask, Harvey, can you set up a meeting with Reverend Gunn and yourself and whoever else? Because with what's going on in, with the people in the White House, our whole administration, if we can't get him out of office, everything that we're talking about, we're going to have to come up with a different type of strategy. I don't even know if we should even still be here, because
Yeah.
okay, so what we're talking about, we have to be like they do. They don't just plan for tomorrow, they plan for the future. And
Exactly.
I don't know what to do. I mean, I know some of what to do, but I want to talk with people like you and that understand politics
Yeah.
better than me, to find out what's going on. Do we have a chance of getting this guy out of office? And if so, then that's going to give me a little bit of a breather, because I feel like, okay, things are going to get better. But if we don't get him out of office, and it doesn't look like, I mean,
Yes.
right now we're
Yeah.
teetering. It can go
Tatum,
either
yeah.
way.
You push for a
And if
third.
he
You push for
doesn't
a
get
third
out of
term.
if he doesn't get out of office, brother, we're already seeing racism on
Oh
full
yeah.
display.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You see the New York. They threw the other charge out today. They threw that out of court.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
yeah.
we're in some a very critical time
Yes.
historically.
Yes. Yes.
And will if he has another term, that's going to be an autocracy. That's going to be a dictator.
All day.
Okay. Will we even be able to leave the country?
Yeah. You got a good, excellent point. Because he control the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. Have total
Everything,
control
brother.
every
We won't,
fashion.
it's
Yeah. Putting troops in the cities.
300, 300, no, 30,000
Yeah.
of our strongest people, which are black women,
Right.
because that demographic has the highest education and power right now.
Yeah.
They've lost their jobs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And those that are still in positions, they won't be in those positions of power. We won't have any defense, man.
No.
This will be just like slavery time. We won't have anything.
No. So totally correct.
What will we be able to do, man?
Yeah. You got an
So
excellent point.
I want to talk about stuff like this,
Yeah.
man, because this is serious.
It really is, incur. Yeah. Yes,
Anyway,
indeed. Yeah.
so when can you let me know? Even if it's just you, myself, Keith, and
Yeah.
one or two others, but I need some people there that know more than us. I mean, I don't know how
Right.
much
Right.
you know, but that can answer some questions, and we can build from that. Does
Okay.
that make
Hey,
sense?
It makes
can y'all hear
perfect
me?
sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Can
Yes.
y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, look, Keith was trying to call, come on three-way, and I was trying to call you hard because he went off air. So
Okay.
if we could three-way each other, we can talk like that too.
Okay. So we need to log off or what?
Yeah, and we will
Okay.
call you on the phone. Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Gotcha.
Wow. Well, technical difficulties happen. But that conversation that we had was a real conversation. So I hope you guys will tune in again next week. You know, my apologies that that it just cut off like that. It actually kicked me out of the system, and I have control over it. But I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Unlocking Your Legacy with Talking Fat. You know, we just coming up here, a couple of brothers coming together, just having some conversations about what's going on out here in the world. Hopefully sharing some insights and some information and some things that you may not have information on, so you can make an informed decision. But listen, prayerfully hope you come back next week. This is Keith Robertson, the Fin Coach. And remember, action of knowledge leads to power. Next Thursday, 8 o'clock, we'll be here. And blessing. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for taking time to tune in to Talking Fat. As we know better, we must do better. Because action of knowledge leads to power. If this content has been useful to you, please like and share. Tune in again. Peace and blessings.